Imagine robbing an armored car so flawlessly that the first cars in pursuit explode as soon as they hit a spike strip, only to watch your getaway ambulance blow up behind you. That's just the beginning of Heat's adrenaline-fueled roller coaster. Hey everyone, welcome back to Movie Recaps Hub podcast. I'm Dulan, and today we're diving deep into Michael Mann's 1995 crime masterpiece, Heat. Buckle up, because we've got a heist, betrayals, epic shootouts, and a face-off you won't forget. So we open in Los Angeles, where Neil McCauley strolls into a hospital, wearing a uniform that makes him invisible to staff. He finds the back exit, hotwires an ambulance, and drives off, smooth as silk. Cut to Chris at a construction supplier, loading up on explosives, while Michael picks up Winegrow in a stolen tow truck. Trejo is tailing an armored car, guiding everyone to the target. Chris and Neil hop in the ambulance, with the rest of the crew don masks. And Neil slams the brakes, forcing the armored car to stop. Michael's tow truck slams into it, sending it careening into a dealership lot. Chris sets the charges, blasts the back door off the armored car, and all the surrounding car windows shatter. They round up the guards, and Chris rifles through envelopes until he finds the right one, just as Trejo's spike strip shreds the tires of the pursuing cops. Winegrow, impatient and unhinged, executes the deaf and dazed guards one by one, despite Neil's warnings about the heat an officer killing brings. With the envelope secured, they ditch the ambulance, complete with a bomb ticking in the back, and switch vehicles. Moments later, boom, the ambulance explodes, destroying their gear and eliminating evidence. That evening, Neil meets Nate, his money launderer, to inspect the stolen envelope. It's stuffed with bearer bonds from Roger Van Zant's Malibu Equity and Investments, worth hundreds of millions. Their plan? Extort Roger for a huge payoff in exchange for the bonds. Nate also mentions a $10 million job from a fixer named Kelso. Neil says, "Let's set up that meeting." Enter Detective Vincent Hanna, who arrives at the heist scene. He catalogs the stolen vehicles, checks the debris, and realizes this is professional work. A homeless witness heard someone shout, "Slick," but saw no faces. Vincent pieces together the blast damage, concluding he's chasing pros, not amateurs. The crew meets at a truck stop diner. Winegrow tries to justify killing the guards. Neil slams his head into the table and almost kills him, warning that officer casualties bring down a harder investigation. They stop only when a cop car drives by. Winegrow vanishes into the night. At home, Chris's wife Charlene is furious. The take is short of what Chris promised. Tempers flare. Chris admits he blew part of the money on gambling. Charlene declares he has a problem and can leave if he doesn't like it. Chris storms out when their baby starts crying. Vincent and his partner raid a chop shop, threatening the owner into giving up leads. He says his brother will meet Neil in Koreatown with an informant tip. Meanwhile, Neil meets Kelso at a lounge. Kelso pitches a Far East National Bank heist, over $10 million in vault cash on certain days, and promises to hack the alarm 15 minutes before the job. Neil's intrigued and greenlights it. Neil finds Chris crashed out on his apartment floor. They talk. Neil half jokes that Charlene might be cheating. Chris denies it. Chris vents about his crumbling home life, and Neil fills him in on the Kelso job. That night, Neil calls Roger from a drive-in theater to confirm the bond drop. He spots Charlene leaving a motel with another man, barges in, and confronts her. She insists it's business, but Neil won't hear it. He orders her to give Chris one last chance. After the next job, if Chris fails again, Neil promises to deal with him himself. In Koreatown, Vincent stakes out the club. Neil's informant's brother reveals his cellmate is Slick, Michael. Vincent confirms the name, calls in his team, and they ramp up surveillance. At the empty drive-in, Neil and the courier swap cars. Suddenly, an assassin creeps up. Chris, on Overwatch, warns Neil, who reverses, crushing the hitman's leg. Chris springs into action, guns blazing. Neil deals the final blow, but the envelope holds nothing but scrap paper. Furious, he calls Roger, cancels the deal, and swears revenge. That evening, the crew dine with their families, completely unaware they're under police watch. Vincent recognizes Michael and Chris from past cases. Meanwhile, Waingro in a seedy motel proves he's a serial killer, murdering a night shift sex worker. Vincent comforts the victim's mother at the gruesome crime scene. The crew attempts a break-in at a precious metals depot. Michael deactivates alarms on the roof. Chris busts the lock. Neil stands watch. But when a cop's rifle clatters, Neil yells, "Move!" and they flee empty-handed. Vincent opts not to arrest them for mere burglary. He's after a bigger score. Later, at a shipyard, the crew's casing trip was a decoy. They wanted Vincent's men to show themselves. From atop a crane, Neil snaps surveillance photos of the cops watching them. Neil and Vincent meet unexpectedly for coffee at a diner. They chat about the personal costs of their jobs. Vincent confesses he hates killing, but will do it to stop an innocent from dying. Neil counters he'd do the same. The day of the Far East National Bank heist arrives. Trejo can't join. He's in heat with the cops. So Neil recruits Donald, an old prison buddy, now working in a diner kitchen. Inside the bank, Michael cuts power to alarms. Chris overpowers and binds a guard, and Neil gets the manager's key by punching him. Threatening hostages, Neil assures everyone the insured government will cover losses, so stay calm. Bags full of cash, they step outside, only to find Vincent and his squad waiting. A fierce gun battle erupts. Stray bullets, panicked civilians, and burning rubber. Chris kills a cop with a stray shot. Donald tries to escape, but is fatally shot as the getaway car crashes and burns. Neil drags wounded Chris away under heavy fire. Michael, separated, holds a child hostage in a restaurant. Vincent shoots him to protect the kid, then returns the child safely to his mother. Chris survives his wounds. Neil has him patched up by a doctor friend. Chris insists on finding Charlene, but Neil argues she's a liability. Back to Charlene. She's hiding in a safe house, pressured by cops to lure Chris into a trap. Meanwhile, Neil storms Trejo's house, finds his wife murdered by Waingro and Roger. He executes a dying Trejo, confirms with Nate that Chris is safe, then calls Roger's address. At Roger's mansion, Neil smashes in, guns Roger down, and storms out. Vincent's team raids an apartment. Vincent throttles the rat who gave intel, Waingro, before learning Waingro snitched. Neil asks his new girlfriend to run away with him. She realizes who he is and flees. Neil watches, helpless. Cops close in. Vincent arrives by helicopter. They meet in the airport terminal, trading bullets under commercial jet engines. In the climactic moment, a passing plane's lights reveal Neil's silhouette. Vincent fires the killing shot. As he dies, Neil reaches out and they share a final, uneasy handshake. And that's our full recap of Heat 1995. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Michael Mann's crime epic, hit that like button. Leave your thoughts in the comments. what's your favorite moment? And don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss an episode of Movie Recaps Hub podcast. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you next time.